Hello everyone, it's Nono here, and today I want to welcome you to my live stream. Today we're going to be talking about DigitalOcean and the basic things that you can do. I'm going to try to explain what DigitalOcean is, how I've been using it for my own projects, and how can you use it and get started by building websites or like algorithms that run there, or bots, or Docker images, or even serving machine learning models. We're not going to cover everything that I just mentioned today, but we're going to get started. And getting started means signing up, knowing what the service is, what different things you can do there, and what I use it for and what you can use it for and how. All right, so this is part one because I think we can't cover this in 1 or 2 hours. This is something that will span across different videos, but at least we're going to get started today. Okay. For those of you who are new, this is the Nono live channel. So this is a YouTube channel so far that we meet every single week. So on Thursdays at the moment. And this is the time that I have reserved weekly to spend some time with you, learning how to code, learning how to do creative coding, machine learning, things that have to do with art, design, podcasting, writing, sketching, you name it. And I'm open to suggestions on topics that we can cover on the channel and that we can learn. This is an exercise that I do for me to learn things like public speaking or teaching or software development or design. And at the same time, if you can learn something from me, that would make me really happy. I will encourage you to type on the chat to let me know if you can hear me okay, and why you're connecting, how you found us, and where you're connecting from, and what you're looking for from this channel. Also, you can leave it on the comments of the video if you're watching this after the fact, so if you're not watching this live. And I will invite you to like the video because this helps us and other people get to know the channel better and reach more people. And this also tells me that you want to see similar content. And also make sure to subscribe if you want to get notified when I go live next or when I upload new videos. Also, we have a community. This is a Discord server that is sort of a Slack chat or something that has different channels, and we can treat different topics. We can get to connect with each other and meet each other, and you can join us at nono.ma/discord. That will redirect you to the invite code or the invitation URL where you can sign up. And I will remind you that last week we saw a live stream with StyleGAN and a few models that I have trained myself with a different data set of sketches and also of portraits. These are handmade sketches and handmade portraits. And also we saw how to add these models into Runway and how to use them and what it means to train a StyleGAN model and understanding a bit about the dataset. We also saw a project from Ricardo that is also on the Discord community, has been joining us in the past live streams. All right, this is a recap. So these are some of the most appealing images or videos that I made for last week's stream. You can go and watch them on live stream number 18. So that's for February 4th, 2021. Today, and these are some more images. And shout out to Code as Creative Medium. This is a book that is a handbook for computational art and design. It's written and carefully crafted by Golan Levin and Tiga Brain. I know that this has been in the works for the past 4 years at least, so it's something that's been taking a lot of care of. There have been manuscripts going around and around, and they just released this on February 2nd, I believe, 2021. So you have a short link there that takes you to Amazon, but you can just Google the name of the book and you'll go to the MIT Press page. All right, what are we doing today? So I have been learning DigitalOcean on my own ever since Cristobal Valenzuela, the creator of Runway, told me about it in Mexico in, I believe, 2018. I don't remember quite. Okay. But since then, I've been, creating my own virtual machines on the cloud, hosting my own websites, automating tasks there, building applications, and also building websites for other people and running things on the cloud. The first thing that I intend to see are the basics, later going to droplets, dependencies, and serving ML. So what you can see here on this image is, this is sort of the new layout that I'm going to have for live stream covers and maybe for some of the tutorial videos. This is, I have to say, is greatly inspired by the coding train by Neil Schiffman. This is Croquetilla. This is an illustration that I made myself, so maybe we're gonna theme up the channel with this. I'm not sure yet. You can tell me what you think about it. And what I got from Neil Schiffman is this checklist. This checklist is something that represents what I intend to cover on a live stream, but that I'm not super sure that I will have the time to cover in this, from 30 minutes to 4 hours, can be anywhere. So the intention is that after the fact, so after recording this live stream, I will check off the things that I actually did and put that back onto the thumbnail of this video. That will represent the parts that I've completed on the live stream of the initial things that I thought I will do. I don't know what we will do with the things that are not here, but that we actually end up covering on the video. And, I have some work to do from the past years, from the past weeks, to edit videos, clips, and upload them to Dropbox, but we'll get to that. All right. First, if you're new to DigitalOcean, this link, so nono.ma/do for DigitalOcean, is an invite code that is a referral code, so I will get some credits as well, and you get 100 credits for the first 60 days. And this allows you to use a lot of the things like storage and machines and droplets and many things that you can get to use. And it's really cool because for the first 2 months, you can experiment with paid services for free. And then, you can decide after those 2 months if you want to keep going or not. And, going back, note that I will only get credit if you end up using this thing for like 6 or 7 months and getting a paid service and stuff. So initially, just an invite gives you $100 in credit, and it will allow you to follow along this tutorial that I'm going to do today. All right, what is DigitalOcean? So I have here sign up, hosted sites, and services, right? So I'm going to do, I have a set of image covers here that we're going to be going through today, and then we'll start coding, right? So because you're seeing this live or you're seeing the live stream video, I'm going to try to do these things so I can then later crop these as individual clips, as individual tutorials. So you might see me doing as if I were starting or ending the video, but we're not either starting because we already started or ending the video. So just ignore that, just think that is for post-production. So just think about that. Well, hi everyone, this is Nono here, and this is a video on what DigitalOcean is. I'm going to cover how to sign up, what sites I have hosted there, and a few services that DigitalOcean provides you. Right, so let's get hands-on here and move on. And the first thing I'm going to do is, I have this register code here. So I have this referral code here. It's not nono.ma/do. And if you go there, you'll get 100 credits for the first 60 days. So you can try these paid services in DigitalOcean for free. And if you end up using these paid services for more than 8 or 6 months or something, I will get $25 in credit as well. So it works both ways. All right, so that invitation code there, so you will visit it, and the screen that you will get, let me open a browser here. So this is so you will go to nono.ma/do. So you would, what is happening here? So you would go to nono.ma/do, we'll click in there, and this homepage on DigitalOcean opens. Welcome to the Developer Cloud. We will go here to sign in or sign up, right? So if you don't have an account, you have to sign up. And then with this invitation, what you do is that you will just sign up for a new account. So let's open that. So you would go, let me just hide this thing here. Right, so let me sign out of my account. All right, so All right, so if you don't have an account, you would go to digital. Okay, let's start from scratch. So you would go to nono/do. You'll get to this home screen, welcome to the developer cloud, and you'll press sign up, right? We have to create a new account. Try DigitalOcean with $100 credit. You will receive $100 credit good for 60 days when you create a new account. And then you have different options to sign up. So I will sign up by email, and I will put here my name, my email, and my password, right? So I already have an account, so I'm just going to go here and sign in. And the first thing that you have to do, you can see here a menu, you will create a new project. A new project is a space where you can put different services, different of the services that DigitalOcean allows you to do. So that will be how you create your account and how you get started. All right. So before we see the services of DigitalOcean, I'm going to show you a few of the things that I've built with DigitalOcean that I'm hosting there, right? My personal website. So this is my personal content management system. So I've coded this on GitHub. This is a Laravel application, and it's fully hosted here. I also obsessed a bit over speed. So you can see here at the top of the screen that every time I refresh the screen or the page, it's telling me how long it takes to load the application, and it takes like somewhere from 2 to 3 seconds or a bit more now on the pages that are like really light, that only have like a simple template. In others, the queries to the database take a bit longer. The thing is, I've hosted this page here. It works pretty fast, pretty well. And this is a PHP application. I've also hosted my sketches page. So this is under the same application. You can see there's lazy loading here. This is just HTML and JavaScript doing the trick. And I have my own CMS system here where I can go and edit many of these things. So this is hosted on DigitalOcean. Next is the podcast page, also hosted on DigitalOcean, same content management system. And as you can see, smooth and really fast, and it can handle everything, right? All right, what else have I hosted here? My mom's website here, also hosted under the same platform, same server actually. So Getting Simple, Nono.ma, and Lourdes.ac are hosted on the same machine, on the same remote server. And there are other debugging places that I have. So for example, this domain here, just to preview a specific React application and template, which is really responsive, really fast. And what else? And I have more domains here. So I have urbansketch.es. So that's another domain that's here. This other website is also here. My cousin's website is also here online, and we can see it. Same backend, same system. And a friend's website is also hosted in here. So it's also online here. Right, so these are all hosted on the same place, and then there are other, if you go to Folio's repo, so this is the backend service or system that I'm that runs behind those websites. You can see all their client websites or personal websites that are also running in there, and this is all the same system. So it's like PHP and Laravel and the same content management system. But you can see all of these pages work really fast and well. And this is so this is what it is. And this is another page. This is from David Burns, also on using the same system. It's a really nice template that he designed on his own. It's like full page and really minimal. I really like the style. Also a design of his, the Royal College of Architecture, School of Architecture, the Royal College of Arts, School of Architecture website, running on the same system. and then this website. Everything's running on the same platform, so on the same system. And these are, these are different DigitalOcean accounts managed by, the owners of these websites. So the ones that are not mine are not under my own account. But as you can see, many of these things resemble a bit on layout and systems, but they all have like a particular layout on their own. All right, so those all live on DigitalOcean. So there's many domains and many applications that you can see here. And now we're going to see the services. So DigitalOcean provides many services, and today we're just going to hear about a few of them. So if you go here to the left of the page, you can see there's apps that is new. It's really nice. I haven't tried it, but I know what it is, and it's really nice, but it's more expensive than if you know how to work with droplets. Apps is a way in which you can quickly deploy applications, have them automatically update, I think, from a GitHub repository or a repository in other versioning system platforms, but it has a $5 per month cost. So for each application you're deploying, you'll be paying $5. Whereas in Droplet, if you don't have a high volume visits in your site, you can host unlimited sites in one Droplet, which can be a virtual machine also for $5 a month. If you look at Kubernetes, I haven't used it. It's related to Docker containers and things like that, and I don't really know anything about it yet. Volumes is something I have used. These are cheaper storage volumes that you can mount into your droplets. So if you need more storage, instead of paying for like the most expensive instances, you can pay for volumes. And this is a cheaper way to get storage space if you want to save a lot of images or files in the same file system that the website is running, and you want quick access to it. But then there is Spaces. Spaces is similar to AWS S3. This is storage that is cheaper, but it's like a service that is detached from the same machine that you have your website on. And you need credentials, you need API keys, and you can load and save images and files that your application needs from there. It's cheaper. It's $5 a month for 250 gigs of memory. And so and that gives you, if we go, then there is, let me actually move this slightly so you can see it. I'm talking about this panel in case I was on top of it before. So we have the apps, droplets, Kubernetes, volumes, databases, which we're not going to talk about right now, but they're like managed databases. This means that you're paying for instances that give you a database and they live there, and it's simplified as it says here, and it's just like a simpler way to work with databases that is not installing them on your own. Then you have the Spaces, the container registry in case you want to have your own images of like Docker images hosted there, images in case you want to have images of Droplet machines. So this means Linux images that you can create new machines from quickly. And then you have networking options and monitoring options that relate to the other projects and the other products. And then you have the marketplace that we're going to talk about today. All right, so these are the services. So let's go one by one. Let's take a look here at the apps menu. So inside of the apps page, you can see that this is to focus on code and not the servers, which means you can have a prototype for $5 a month and a scaled application for $12 a month. These actually, with these $12 a month, you're actually deploying an application really easily, and you can have 3 static sites are included for free. Each additional site costs 3 months. So, this means that for $12, maybe you can deploy 3 sites for production. But I don't really know what static means here. I think it means that it's only HTML or pre-built websites, so you don't have a runtime in PHP like you can have with Laravel or Express or other systems. So let's just take a look and try here. Link your GitHub account and link your GitLab account. All right, so today we're not going to see apps in DigitalOcean, so we're going to skip this. If you're interested, we can make a video another day. Don't have a real project right now, launch a demo app. Try one of our apps here. So maybe, we could do React. So we have a web service, blah, blah, blah. Yeah, and you have to specify a few things that we're not gonna take a look at right now. All right, so let's leave the apps tab. You can see when I click apps, you leave the space of cloud and then you go to apps. So this is a new section for simplified deployment. If you go to the cloud, we have everything that I was talking about before. All right, so this is, these are some of the domains that I manage and that I have online, if you're curious. And this is the environment that I've created to test today. All right, so this covers what DigitalOcean is, or at least we've seen an overall view of, how to sign up, hosted sites that I have and applications, and then the services that are offered that we're going to be covering here. If you're interested in others that I'm not covering today or in other videos, let me know in the comments and I'll be glad to record a video. All right, thanks so much for watching and I'll see you next time. All right, so we're going to continue now and we have a question here from Major. Can you explain why is it faster to load the page? Well, so the first thing is you just have a Droplet instance that we're going to see now. And these are virtual CPUs or dedicated CPUs. And, their servers are just good. That you can get more expensive things in other platforms and they will give you machines that are shared among many customers. Maybe machines that are not as well prepared or the infrastructure is worse. So these machines I think is one of the best that you can get. And with the setup I have, I also optimized it in a way that makes the query to the database and makes the way that the page loads and the application faster. I don't exactly know why, but on my previous server, I have some screenshots that show how slow it was before. Right, so let me take a look to see if I can see that quickly. Yeah, so I do like to save screenshots when I work on things like this. And, let me see if this is in chronological order. Yeah, I don't exactly know the order right now, but what you can see here is that I got the base page to load in 0.01 seconds, right? So like really fast, and this is 18 milliseconds. And let me just move this away. So yeah, so I had this page here that it's taking 15 or 150 milliseconds to load, and this is actually loading the entire archive, so making a database query that retrieves the entire list of posts that I have so far. And here are some comparisons. So you can see on the left, so here on the left we can see request that takes 250 milliseconds to run, and in another server it takes, I think it's 10 times less, right? Yeah, or a bit less than that. This is taking 1 second versus 21 milliseconds. And there are many comparisons here. So I was looking at things that took like maybe 1 second to load in the old server, and then when I ported to DigitalOcean, I was down to like 15 milliseconds or 18 milliseconds, right? So I was debugging when I was moving from site to site, and moving from Media Temple, DigitalOcean, and my computer. And actually, let me see if we can see the comparison there. Yeah, so this is on the right, taking 15 seconds to render the entire archive. On the left, 5 seconds. And that 5 seconds got down to like 15 milliseconds. So from 20 seconds, so that's like 20 divided by 15, that's 133 times faster to load than before. And this is because of the server. So the server took it from 20 to 5, but then I did some optimizations because I was doing a lot more database queries than I needed to, and I could save a lot of time. So yeah, and these are just things that I have here to try. So my homepage was taking 2 seconds, and we got it down to, yeah, I don't know what's in here, but yeah, we took it down to a lot less. So that, I hope that answers your question. All right, so back here. So second category or second topic that we're going to cover, droplets. All right. So hi everyone, it's Nono here, and we're going to take a look at DigitalOcean Droplets. So we're going to see what droplets are, what types we can use, and the Droplets Marketplace. So let's get started. If we go to our DigitalOcean account, and if you don't know what DigitalOcean is or how to create an account, go to the previous video and you'll find that there. We can create a new project here, and then on our new project, we'll be able to go to create. So we create a new droplet, right? So we can create many different things. We can create spaces, domains, apps, and many things, but we're going to create a droplet. So once we create a droplet or click on create a droplet, DigitalOcean is going to ask us to customize it. We can choose from different systems. So CentOS, Debian, Fedora, FreeBSD, Ubuntu. So I'm going to use the latest version of Ubuntu. We need to choose a plan. So we have multiple options here. So we can choose from basic, general purpose, CPU optimized, memory optimized, and storage optimized. Basic is the cheapest. So you have virtual CPUs. So this is what is a shared CPU, means that you don't really have a full GPU reserved for yourself. So it might be shared between other people's accounts, or maybe between the different droplets that you have in your own account. And you can see we can get down to $5 a month. That means 0.7 cents an hour, which means that, if we create a droplet, we do some stuff and play with it for 1 or 2 hours, it's going to cost us 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 cents, depending on the hours. If you leave it open, you'll have a maximum cost of $5 per month for this type of instance. If we look at the more expensive ones with 1 or 2 SSDs, we can go to really, really expensive quantities really quickly, right? We can go up to here $2,480 per month in certain instances. And if you're worried about this, you can go to billing settings, and I'm going to do one thing really quickly just to make sure that I don't compromise any information here, and gonna take a look at what's in here. This is a dangerous song. And all right, 1 second. So you can see right here is that in this particular account, I have a $6 USD usage amount billing alert. This is because on this particular amount, the only thing I'm paying is $5 a month for one instance, and the domains are registered somewhere else. And with these $6, if it goes above that limit, it will send me an alert. That means that, if you leave something running that is more expensive, after you passed your monthly limit, it will let you know. For me, $6 makes sense because I'm paying $5 a month. And if I use some other things like today for this tutorial, it will go to 5.10 or 5.03, but it will not go over 6. If there is something that goes over 6, it means that I've either changed my mind and added different droplets, or that there is something wrong. All right, so we are going back to create droplets. And we're going to go back to the same menu that we were at before, where we're going to select. And just reiterating here, we have the basic plan, which is what we're going to use. And then we have dedicated CPUs in case you want to do something more to production level in the terms of maybe processing images or like a huge volume of users. We're talking about thousands of users every day. And then you can go for different ones. CPU optimized, if you want to use things you see best in class interprocessors. The CPU for intensive applications like CI/CD, if you're going to build code and deploy it on your pipeline. online, video encoding, transcoding, machine learning, ad serving, batch processing. So you need to start thinking about these ones if you're going to have an intensive application, like for instance, encoding video. Memory optimized probably for 8 gigs of RAM per vCPU, hyper-threads, RAM intensive application like high-performance databases, web scale in memory cache, real-time big data processing. If you're going to be processing like hundreds of thousands of database entries per second or per minute, this is your goal. It starts getting really expensive. We can go up to $2,000 here. So we're going to go to basic and we're going to click on this $5 a month instance that we're going to delete after this tutorial. And then our basic Droplet, formerly called standard Droplet plan, range from 1 gig of RAM to 16. With 1 is good. There is a trick we can do to use swap memory, so this gets space to have more RAM memory than that. And block storage. We could add block storage, so you can choose your size, or you can pay $10 per gigabyte. So we could say like 5 gigs, it's like 50 cents a month. 50 gigs is 5. You get it. So if I need 1,000 gigs is $100 a month, which it's a lot more expensive than if we just go here into spaces that we'll talk about later. I think, do we have a section for that? We don't really, so I'll just talk about them right now. So I don't have any spaces, but you can create unlimited spaces for $5 a month. And if you need more than 250 gigs stored, you'll start paying 1 or 2 cents per gig. View details, and yeah, it's like 2 cents per extra gigabyte that you have. And if you have outbound data transfer, 1 cent per gigabyte, but you're given 1 terabyte of outbound transfer every month already. So you can use 250 gigs of storage in those DigitalOcean spaces and up to 1 terabyte of outbound transfer per month. Everything that you upload doesn't matter. So you can do a lot of processing there and upload things, and that won't cost you anything. All right, so we're not gonna get any volumes here. So we're gonna remove the volume. And then for picking the data center region, we want to have the server that is going to be the closest to the people who are going to be using this. If it's something for you, for your own development, or you want to be having fast access, you can actually go into the closest to you. So for example, I can pick Frankfurt or London, for example, but that doesn't really matter that much. All right, 1 second. All right, let's keep going. Anyone has any questions? Okay. So where were we? Cool. So the last thing you have here, so you have VPC network. We're not going to talk about IPv4 in case you need IPv4 public IP, and then SSH keys. You can either use a password, so I can put here a password here on my root access. So this is the root account in your Droplet, but what's more recommended, so I don't think passwords are recommended here because there will be bots that will try to hack your account with checking passwords. So you put something here like password, somebody will get to your account and try to log in with root and password, and they will get access to your server. So SSH keys, what are they and how we're going to use them? We're going to talk about that later. So I think I have a section for that as well. And we can see that right now. So inside of this tutorial, but recording also a separate tutorial. So here to set up our SSH key on the Droplet that will give us access through the terminal command line to a server, we would select here all of the ones if we want all of the public keys on our laptops to, this will provide access to all those laptops in which I have access to those keys, right, where those keys are added. So the private keys for the private pairs for these public keys. And we can also create a new SSH key or add it, right? We cannot, I don't know if we can create it here. We can just probably add it. So yeah, we're going to select all of them. And we are here, we put Yeah, thanks, John Mark. So, okay, so let's keep going. And yeah, so here we'll get to the SSH keys that are the keys that allow your computer to get access to the server. And we're gonna see that later. And here the droplet name. So this would be like Ubuntu, whatever. So we're gonna call it live. Or let me just put a prefix so we know what the machine is. So live first droplet, right? And we can add tags, we can select the project, and we can enable backups. That will make a backup that will increase the price of your droplet in 20% per month and do periodic backups. And those backups are retained for 4 weeks. All right, so this will create a droplet and we're gonna create it. So now we will click on create droplet. And this is a really fast process. So everything's configured. You can see here that we have our droplet that we've configured. It's in London, it has 1 gig of RAM, 25 gigs of disk, and it's getting created. Once this gets created, DigitalOcean will provide us with a unique IP address. So this is IP version 4 that we can use to log into our server via SSH. What does that mean? So I think I have here SSH access. So let me see. So I'm gonna finish the tutorial here for the droplets, and we'll look at SSH keys as well. So give me just 1 second to get a quick break, like a quick water break, and we'll keep going. Let me just put here. Right, so we'll put that and we'll just copy this thing here, put it there, and remove all animations. We're gonna remove these animations. All right, I'm gonna remove all the animations of these slides as well because that's been really annoying. So maybe we'll just leave them, but after transition, so they don't really take time. Let me just check. And you know, if there are breaks like these ones, once I get to put the YouTube chapter, the YouTube chapters, you're going to be able to skip them by clicking on the next section automatically. All right, let's take a look at that. So if we put this here, we play it, we just do that. Okay, so now that shows, but it's not there. All right, so let me take a look at the chat in case there are any questions, and we'll be back in a second. Great. Cool, I'll be back in a second. See you in a second. All right, so let's get started. Okay, so I'm back. So we were taking a look at these droplets, right? What are droplets? We've seen what they are. We've seen some of the types and how to create one. So now we can go here and I can see the IP address. So I can click here on copy and copy that to my clipboard. I can add tags and I can destroy this. I can add a domain to it. I can access the console, resize the droplet, view usage. There are many things I can do, right? The easiest thing I could do is go into Access Console. So this is going to give us this console window that is going to give us access into the droplet machine. Problem is, if I do this, we haven't really created a password for this droplet. There is no way that we can log in here that I remember right now. And, this is not really a way to get to access. And there might be a way in which we could maybe put here like a private key or something, but this is not something that we're going to use right now. The way we're going to do it is we're going to copy this address. We're going to go open our terminal. So we're going to open our macOS terminal. In my case, you could probably open Bash on Windows as well, I guess. And what we're going to do is I'm going to run this command. So I'm going, if I paste here, I have my IP. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to run SSH root. This is the root user there. And then the IP address. Sort of magically, if I press enter, this is going to tell me, okay, do you verify the authenticity of this host? Because we don't know about the hash or the fingerprint of this remote host. And it might be that this is useful if you're trying to, instead of connect to an IP or to a server, if that IP gets given to another server, maybe a hacker or a different company, or if, for example, the github.com domain, if you're trying to SSH into it, it might resolve now to a new IP that you don't know of. That means that somebody's hacked into it. And this is the fingerprint. This is what the server tells you, okay, I'm the same server than last time. And when I click in there, right, if I'm going to stop the command now, you can actually go into Nano, I think it's on SSH, known hosts, right? So we can go here and there's like all of these IP addresses that we've connected to sometime that are known by our computer. And that message is not going to show up when we put the SSH root add command the next time that we connect to them. If you see that file, right, that doesn't, that's one line that we're going to add now. When we click here on that command, SSH root at our IP address, we say yes. And then that fingerprint is, as you can see here, is permanently added to the list of known hosts. We've connected, so this is telling us, let's actually do that once again. So I can click exit and leave. So we do SSH. When I click, I clean everything. And this is what we see. So this is welcome to Ubuntu. Let me put this a bit bigger. So welcome to Ubuntu 20.0.1 LTS, blah, 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 documentation. This is just a message on your Linux machine. It's telling you some things about the machine, memory usage, swap usage. We haven't really created swap space, and I might tell you today or other time what that is. And we're using 5% of our 24 gigs of space. After the disk is formatted, we've actually lost a few 1 gig of space. All right, and I think there's a command to remove this here, but yeah, we're not going to do that right now. So we exit once again. So I have my IP. So I do, let's just go to the middle of the screen. So we do SSH root at 64.227.42.62. All right, welcome to Ubuntu. We're now on the host. So now note how when I have here an SSH window, this is telling me, well, this is for Anaconda. So I could do, I think, Anaconda deactivate, but I have it by default. It's telling me where I am. So this is on the computer on Nono. So if I do pwd, I see this is my folder, and this is actually SSH shell. What happens here? So this is actually root, so this is not Nono anymore, so this is not Nono user, and this is the name of the machine that we've created. This is a droplet that we created on DigitalOcean, and we can also do the same. So we could do pwd, so we know that we're at root, and if we do ls, we can see there's something there. So if we list everything on the root, we can see these things here, which actually are the base files that you will get in any Linux installation, right? We can actually try to do that with Docker, I think. So if I run here let's say, or maybe just make a tab here. So let's try to do Docker run it remove Ubuntu latest. Let's try to see if that works. So this is going to download all the image dependencies of Ubuntu Docker images, and once that's done, that was pretty fast actually. Now we have root at this machine, so this is a unique ID for that machine, and if I do ls, I'm at the root of that directory. This is not my droplet, this is a Docker machine running on my computer, and you can see that that's true. If I go to my user folder at root and I create a file, for example, text.txt, and oh, Nano is not even here. We can actually do apt-get update and apt-get install Nano. So that's a command I'm gonna run now. That's pretty fast. So this is, I'm just showing you this because this is starting from a fresh Ubuntu machine on my computer and installing things into it. So now Nano is available. So I'm going to do file.txt. This is Nono live DigitalOcean 101, right? So I do that, and now I see the file is there. It's actually on root, right? And I can do cat file.txt, and that's there. If I were to exit this machine, right, and run that again, so this is a command that is going to start a new container. And now if I go to root and list the files, there's nothing there. Like, we're closing the machine and the container disappears. This is a bit of Docker instead of DigitalOcean, but anyhow, so I'm gonna open this here so you see what's going on behind the scenes. So when I click or run that command, you can see this new container at the top running, BC Herovsky. We haven't really put a name to it. And then when I exit, that container disappears. If we don't put the remove thing here, we can actually start this thing and create our root file txt. And when I exit, that container exited, but it's still here. And we could actually start it again and go to the console here and list our root, and our file is still there. Right, so maybe I can, if I start this again, it's gonna start from scratch because I haven't really named it. I think if I put a name to it, so name Ubuntu Nono, for instance. Right now, this instance has a name, so this is running on my machine, it's Docker. And because we didn't put the kill command, so the remove the --rm command, and that didn't get killed, right? So I'm gonna stop this one. It might be somewhere there. I'm gonna stop this one, and now I have the Ubuntu Nono. So I could do here a Docker run it name Ubuntu Nono, Ubuntu latest. I don't remember how to run this again from the command line, but I can simply run it from here. I can get a new bash. I do here ls root. We have no file. I'm going to root. I'm gonna do a new file. Again, we have to do apt-get update and apt-get install Nano. And I'm doing these things because we're just working with a Linux machine inside of Docker, and what we're gonna do now is use a DigitalOcean Droplet, which basically is an Ubuntu instance, but just on the cloud that we're SSHing instead of just instantiating with Docker. This is, it's a bit abstract, a bit complicated, but it makes sense later, hopefully. So we're gonna create the file txt, or maybe to make sure it's different, nono.txt. This works, and then I close, and then that file's there. You see the contents, cat nono.txt, which is actually at root nono.txt. This works. So if I now exit, I'm exiting this thing, and the container is actually still live. We haven't told it that if the command line leaves, it has to close. So we can get here, we see that the nono.txt file still exists. I can terminate this thing, and I can stop the container. So once this container is stopped, let's see if it maintains its memory. So if I go here, I go to root and list the files, so that is still there. Which means that we could have a container here, which basically is like having another computer or a DigitalOcean instance in our own computer. So let's say that you want to install something that you don't have on this machine. So apt-get install, I don't know if you can install Git with this, but we could install Git. Yes, it's gonna get 110 megabytes inside of our container. So that's installing Git on our local machine, but inside of the Docker container. So when I remove that container, everything that we have done here doesn't exist. And now we're done. So now I can say, okay, Git, so I can make it there like repo, and it says Git status, Git init, and then, I have my GitHub repo. So new txt, hello there. And now I can do this, or enable blah blah blah, and then yeah, we will have to configure our account and Git and stuff. But we're gonna close this, and I'm going to stop it and delete it. And now we have the Ubuntu image on our system, so anytime that we want to do docker run it remove Ubuntu latest, we can have a Linux machine that starts, we do anything that we want, and then when we close it, that disappears. All right, so that's with Docker, right? So I'm gonna stop Docker now, or pause. I don't know if I can pause it. Yeah, we're gonna quit it, so the stream is a bit faster. Okay, so we have here this, let's say, where were we? All right, so what we were doing is that we can do SSH root at the IP, and that IP is the IP of your DigitalOcean Droplet that we can see in here. So we can see that we've created a droplet, we went to create droplets, and then we filled in all of the information that this website is asking from us. We kind of cherry picked and selected all the things ourselves. And one of the important things we did, we put all of our SSH keys, the public pairs, and you get provided with access if the computer you're trying to SSH into the machine from actually gets the private SSH key installed. Where is that installed? So that key many times is at SSH in this directory. So you have your private and public key and known hosts here. And if you do this, you actually log here your public SSH key, and that way when we do that, we can then go into DigitalOcean, click on new SSH key, and we can paste our public key that will give us access. So once again, we're just gonna go and SSH into our server, and now we're inside it. We can do things like navigate and see what's in there. And for all that is in here, I'm not sure there is a lot. The Git is installed, but I'm not sure of what applications are installed in here. So we don't really have like a www folder for hosting websites. We don't really have engines, we don't have Node, we don't really have anything, right? And there are two ways to do this. You get a fresh install of Ubuntu, in this case 20.04, or you get droplets that already have pre-installed things. And this is really convenient. This is what we're going to see right now. But everything you have to understand right now is that you go here, create a droplet, customize it, create it, and then when you get that IP, you do your command and run something like, let's make this really, really big so you see it. So we have this IP, right? So you will do, and let me just make this here. So you will do your command that is SSH root at your IP. And then that, because we have the private key installed on this computer, gives us access, and Ubuntu tells us that, hello. We close the session, and you can see I can have multiple tabs connected to the same server. So what can we do here right now? I mean, there is not much that we can do here. We can customize our system, but the good thing about the DigitalOcean community is that if you put here DigitalOcean install Docker, for instance, there's a bunch of tutorials and a bunch of resources that will tell you how to do these things, right? This is a fairly long tutorial, but I think we can, because we don't really care about this instance, we can just copy paste. I don't recommend you to copy paste commands from the web. This is something that also Cristobal Valentino told me, that some people might do tricks into fooling you and then pasting weird characters and commands that do things that you don't really know are happening. But I'm actually going to do that right now. And I'm going at the Docker repository, packages. So yeah, so this is installing some prerequisite packages. This is because we're starting on an instance that is completely from scratch. It's an instance that we don't have anything installed and nothing is really being put there that is ready for us. All right, so some of these commands are really going to take time, but here we'll take and actually add Docker's public GPG key to our well, actually, if we look at the command, what this is doing is it's getting the key from a URL. So we can probably do echo and failure writing body. Let me just do this. Okay, so this is the public key. So this public key is to verify from Docker's URL that what we're gonna download is exactly Docker and we're not downloading something else. So it's a safety trick. So we can add this to our system keys to make sure that we trust that one. So that's okay. Then add the Docker repository to apt sources. So that's so we can install Docker. And this is, I'm just going through this to give you an example of how you would install something, in this case Docker, if it wasn't installed in the DigitalOcean Droplet that you're creating. Because many times, even if you get Docker pre-installed, you might find that you want to install Node.js or Laravel or Nginx or Apache, many things or ImageMagick, right? So, or Pandoc. And now we're gonna continue pasting these commands here. We're going to make sure you are about to install from the Docker repo instead of the default Ubuntu repo. So let's make sure. And yeah, so we get this output here. Make sure, so Ubuntu Bionic. Output of apt cache policy. Docker candidate installed none. Candidate Ubuntu Bionic. This is download Docker. Ubuntu download Docker. All right, note that Docker is not installed, but the candidate is issued from Docker repository. Yeah, it is from the Docker repository. So we do install Docker CE. And finally start Docker, and then we start the system daemon. I don't know how to pronounce this. Daemon. And we say yes, so this is going to take 450 megabytes of our server. And let me see. Yeah, so I'm going to create here, I'm going to start a new SSH window connection. I have some tricks here where we can see the space of all the folders. DFH, so H makes it human readable. This is bytes, I think. And if we do the H the FH, we're gonna get these numbers in a way that a human can understand and read. So you can see now on our disk we have 20 gigs for free, so we're starting to use more and more of that. And if we do it again, this will increase as we go. And if we go to size, it's going to list. So the size command that I have here, that is DUSH, and this is going to tell us the size of everything on the folder that we're at. So if we go to a root, we can do size, and this is going to list the file size of every single folder in the root folder. So boot, we can see var, snap, so probably snap or var contain or user contain Docker, because those are the big folders, right? So we go to user and the source lib size. Well, and we'll just keep going. So that's just a preamble while this is getting installed. And now we just have to, once this installation finishes, we can start the daemon, which means that Docker will be running on the background, and we'll see that the Docker service, the Docker application container engine, will be running on our system, executing the Docker command without sudo. This is optional, so we don't need to do this. And using the Docker command, this explains you a bit how to use it. And I'm not going to go through this. Once this is done, we'll just test Docker to make sure that this is running. So now we have the daemon open on the system, and now let's see, we have Docker. Yeah, so Docker is now installed in our instance in DigitalOcean. And what I can do, so let me just clear this, is I could do exactly the same that we did on my machine. We could do it on the cloud. So we could do Docker run IT, and we probably need a Docker tutorial separate from this that is not tied to DigitalOcean, but I'm just making sure you understand. I had Docker on my machine. I'm not running on Docker inside of a remote virtual server, and I just installed it. All right, so we do IT, remove, when we close it, and then latest. So same, Docker image, the Ubuntu image is not on the remote server. It's going to download it to the DigitalOcean server, and now that's there. And now if we do this, we're actually on a Docker container. And we can go to root, like before. We can create a new file. Nano is not found, so same thing as before. We will need to install it as well, right? And when we finish, we'll just do nano file.txt. And now we can create it, file. Now we save it, and look what we have at the root folder. We have a file, and the contents of that file are created file. If I exit, now that is going to be dumped. And if I go to the root folder, there's nothing there. And now if I take a look at the root folder on our machine, so this is our DigitalOcean Droplet, you can see there's nothing there, right? So yeah, this is a DigitalOcean Droplet. You exit, and let's just see that once more. SSH root and then your IP. So I don't know if that's here. You enter with SSH root and your machine. Let's do that once again, and you exit with exit. So access with SSH root at the IP, and then we click on exit, and then we run that command, and then the connection is closed. All right, so this is DigitalOcean Droplets 101. We've seen the types and how to run them, and now we're gonna see the DigitalOcean Marketplace. So let me make a cover video or a cover introduction for this video. So we just saw so that was an introduction to DigitalOcean Droplets. Thanks so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next video, where we'll see what the DigitalOcean Droplet Marketplace has to offer. Bye. Right, so let's make a quick break and I'll be back. Okay, I'm back, quick break. So let's take a look. So hi everyone, it's Nono here, and this video, part of the DigitalOcean series, is going to cover the Droplets Marketplace. We're going to learn what it is and how we can benefit from it by using templates that are provided from the community and also by DigitalOcean to create droplets. This is machines on the cloud that already have pre-installed software. This includes NodeJS, Docker, Laravel, Nginx, Apache, many different things. All right, so let's dive right in, and we're gonna go to. So I have here, and for previous tutorial, not for this one. Here we have the droplet. We will go here into destroy, and this is just to get rid of it, and then we destroy droplet. This is irreversible, so it's permanent, so we cannot go back. And if you don't have any backup, that's a pain in the ass because there's no way to recover it. All right, so we have we have here what is our DigitalOcean project. It's empty, we don't have any droplets, and we could click here on get started with a droplet or go up top here and create a new droplet. Once we go there, we're gonna see that under choose an image, we have the option to choose container distributions, custom images, and also marketplace. And this is what we're gonna see right now. So under the marketplace, you're gonna get here a selection of recommended DigitalOcean instances for you. But we can also see all of the marketplace or search. So we could say Node.js, and we can actually see that there's a Node.js image that is provided by DigitalOcean that we could use. All right, what we're gonna do is see all the marketplace images. These are one-click applications you can deploy on virtual machines and Kubernetes clusters. There's a lot. There is like the staff picks, all the ones that are more widely used or more useful for the community. And then we can go to see all categories. And under all categories, there's like a bunch. You can see here on the left, we have like a bunch, like a huge list of things that we're not going to take a look at. But there's like from, let me maybe go to the right. So there's like from e-learning to e-commerce, developer tools, functions, gaming, logging, media, data science, business apps. There's a lot of stuff here. I'm curious, what's inside of e-commerce? So Xcart, you can Magento, GrandNode, Shopware, OpenCart. There's like a lot of things. It's a one clicker. So you go and create droplet and then you configure your droplet. All right. So now that we're here, I'm going to go back and go to the staff picks, the recommended by DigitalOcean in some way that are the most used. Plesk, in case you're familiar with the Plesk panel, allows you to manage different websites and different things from visual UI, similar to cPanel in some way. We have Laravel, which if you've seen my videos, you might know of already. We have Node.js, 1Password, LAMP, Docker, and many different things. And there is LAMP here, but I actually normally use LEMP. LAMP is a stack of tools that include Linux, Apache, MySQL, and PHP. That's where the LAMP acronym comes from. And I don't fully understand LEMP because it's a stack that instead of Apache has Nginx, so I don't really understand. Maybe the N from E, like N sound. So maybe now I understood, like Linux, Nginx, MySQL, and PHP, LEMP stack. Stack in software terms is just when you put, a bunch of tools on top of the other and make them work as a system, as a whole. And, the second result here in LEMP DigitalOcean is the LEMP Marketplace template. So we can put here LEMP and we can see that here. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to get some of the most famous or most common Droplet templates in the marketplace, and we're going to spin up a few instances, right? We're going to be able to access them and just see that right after creation, we're creating something on the cloud, and we're going to have access to all those tools that are pre-installed on a machine just by SSHing into it without having to have any setup. We don't have to install anything locally on the remote machine or anything. And that's really cool. All right, so we're going to leave here the LEMP one, and I'm going to pick a few more. So I'm going to pick, I like the Docker one. Oops. So you can click on create in Droplet automatically. But yeah, so let me open the marketplace and we'll open them all multiple times. So I have here, I'm going to create one with WordPress. I've never tried that one. I'm going to try one with Laravel. I'm going to try one with, so what do we have? Node.js for sure. And I'm going to take a look to see if there's anything else that we can try. LAMP. I'm going to try LAMP. We're going to try LEMP. All right. And maybe if there's anything that you're curious about, let me know in the comments. We can also test that one. All right. So what else is here? Storage. What do we have? Storage OS. So let's go through really quickly. So maybe just with all solutions, we can explore all of them. So let's preload all the images. All right. So we have here Jitsi server. I don't know what that is. Seen that recently. Oh, I saw that before. Okay, Open CPU, Zulip, MySQL. So you can create just an instance for having a MySQL database. Fathom Analytics. phpMyAdmin, because you just want to have an instance reserved for your databases. Probably has MySQL installed as well. So one thing on the details we're going to see now is that if you click, you can see all the other tools that are also installed on this stack. So even though it tells you phpMyAdmin, it also has Apache, Certbot, PHP, MySQL, and phpMyAdmin. Right, we're going to go back, see if we can recover. So that we're at phpMyAdmin. So one, computing for COVID. Yeah, so a Droplet with Boink install ready to fight COVID. And Ruby on Rails, Bitcoin full node Prum implemented in Node.js. All right, let's actually see that one. I want to see that one. A MongoDB. So we're gonna MicroWeber. So we're gonna see that one. And all solutions. Right, many things here. OpenVPN, to create your own VPN machine, Curiosity, Laravel we already saw. Right, engines. I don't know what half of these things are. Okay, Ghost. It's a fully open source adaptable system to build blocks. Right, let's create one of that as well. Now we're just creating, I'm just going to try them all. So see details and Discord, you can create your Discord server, Alpha.io, Django, Zoom admin, LEMP. Yeah, many things, right? So now we've opened Docker, LEMP, WordPress. This one's empty, Node.js here, Laravel hosting, Bitcoin, and Ghost. For each of these ones, so for instance, let's go to the Node.js one, we see who provides this image. So in this case, it's by DigitalOcean, so it's really trustworthy. So this is provided by DigitalOcean, so it's trustworthy. And Docker also by DigitalOcean, also by DigitalOcean, also by DigitalOcean. This one is by DevDojo. So you might say, okay, maybe this is not as up to date or ready. This is by Bcoin, and this is by Ghost. So it makes sense. I mean, they're providing their own images, their own tools, and that's cool. But these ones we can have a really high confidence that these are going to be good because they're provided by DigitalOcean, and they build them probably because many people need these sort of images and they're used frequently. All right, so let me okay, and I'm just trying to check here if the stream is going okay, because the YouTube player was telling me something weird. Okay, sounds good. Cool. So so where were we? Let me get back here. All right. So what you can see now, we have opened all of these things, but on each individual one, apart from seeing who created them, you can create a node. So you can create a droplet with this button. But what's really interesting is that it tells you what it is. So the description, the software included. So this is going to bring Node.js, the Node Package Manager, Nginx, and PM2, a project manager that is also written in Node, inside of your droplet. And this is really crucial because it's not only Node.js and NPM, you also have Nginx, which is configured to serve websites with, for example, Express, and PM2, which is a tool to manage processes, not only JavaScript processes, but also TypeScript and Python and others. There are instructions here that let you know what you need to do to get started. So for instance, you will SSH, as we've been doing with our public IP version 4. And we will Node.js p2 restart hello. So there is like an app in the project manager that it has been already installed for us that we will restart. And then we launch our application, right? So we will, so let's read here. Main modification of the sample file. So hello, you can see this live by using PM2, a process manager. The application runs as the Node.js user, so changes to PM2 need to be run as the Node.js user. Get your code on here, clone on Node.js under a droplet, blah, 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 blah. Map the port your app run to an HTTP URL, edit the existing entry point, blah, 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 yeah, and blah, blah, blah. All right, so this is like how to configure application. Then there is a code here of how we can use the Droplets API that DigitalOcean provides via like an HTTP REST API from Coral to automatically create these droplets from the command line, right? So you will have to put your API key in here, so replace that value. And now that we're here, right, so we're gonna start. I just wanted to show you that there are like detailed instructions on how each of these ones are meant to be used, right? This one, for example, has Docker CE and Docker Compose. This has our LEMP stack has things to prevent spam, PHP, Nginx, MySQL, and Certbot to provide SSL certificates and HTTPS connections. WordPress includes the LAMP stack, but also WordPress. So it's actually a LAMP stack with WordPress on top of it. And we'll see instructions here because it's probably one of the ones that more people are trying to use. Laravel has a LEMP stack with Composer and Laravel, which are the tools that you use to create Laravel websites. And there is a few things that help you out set up probably the certificate and the Nginx thing and commands that we can, these are things that we can see in separate videos. Bcoin, which I haven't used, and then Ghost that also has like an Nginx stack and Nginx and Node. So Ghost is a Node application. All right, so without further ado, right, let's get to the point and create these things. So I'm going to create on every node. So I'm going to create there, create here, create here, create here, create, and create, and create. So this is going to start, we're going to start spinning a lot of instances, and they will be ready like in 1 minute or something. All right, so we have our create, and you can see this is familiar because we've got to the same menu we were before. Instead of clicking create and then just creating from the distribution, we've selected a marketplace image. So we could actually have done this way. So we could come here to this tab, we could come to marketplace, we could go to, just type here Node.js and just click there, and we will be at the same exact point here, and we could quickly change from here to the Docker image or whatever, right? So we're here, Docker, so Node.js, make sure you put it to the cheap instance. We're gonna leave it where it is. We're gonna put all the SSH keys and we're gonna create. So this is there, so just make sure get the $5 instance because you're just gonna try SSH keys. And you know, one thing I didn't do that is good. Well, this is already naming them properly as I was gonna name them, so that's pretty nice. I just was gonna prepend the name, so that's really nice that it gets done for us. So I'm just creating a bunch of instances inside of my live project, $5 instances with these different provided images. And as I said, if you needed to do this at some point, you can automate them with your API key from the command line. All right, so some of them are already created. So the first 3 are created and we have our IPs already there. And we see that these get, a get started menu here because they actually come, so the Docker marketplace, so the Droplet marketplace template comes with a getting started menu that lets us read what this instance is meant to be used for and how we can configure it. So we're gonna go to the first one, so just to the Node.js one. So we'll go here and I'll go back to my spot. And we're gonna go to that one. So SSH root at the IP of our Node.js Droplet. We get the same message because now the server is different, so it has a different fingerprint. So we're gonna say yes, and now we're gonna get to the same machine, right? The same machine that before, so a different machine with the same Linux installed, but also with the Node.js installed. The node side is here, it says, so we can now put that in here. So Sammy welcomes you to your Droplet. Things to do with this script. This message is coming to you via a simple Node.js application that lives in your Droplet, blah, 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 blah. And the file is at var www html hello, right? So in this computer, so now I just clear the screen and I go to var www, I see that there is an HTML thing here, and then there is this hello.js file. This is just a simple HTTP file that is served through this code, and just by changing the code here, I can change the content on the application. So we could, for instance, I don't know what is easier, maybe just go here and delete the styling and delete the body. Yeah, and now I can put here DigitalOcean live with Nono. All right, so here we do this and I save, and this still doesn't do anything. And why is that? Because we have here the PM2 package manager, so we can do PM2 status, and we see we have no tasks here because they're running under the Node.js user. So we do here PM2 status inside of the Node. Look what I did there, right? So we're as root here. So if you do echo who am I think who am I, you see that we're root. You can see the name of the root user. But if I do this Node.js and then I run again echo who am I, then we're the Node.js user. And PM2 is, and this all comes by default, right? That's like installed by default on that system. So if we refresh now, you can see that, you know, this is not encoded as UTF-8, so that's why this gets weird. But, you know, we've changed the code in there, so we could change it again. So HTML hello. Not sure if I do edits here, if I add something like this. Yeah, so it lets me, I own the file probably. All right, so I'm going to delete this, and I don't know if I can do, let me just see. Yeah, so just put the char set to UTF. And again, you know, this, we need to restart the application to make sure the updates take place. So now we can see this, this HTML code gets rendered here, and we can see that's your Node.js application. So this is the simplest thing you can do. So we're hosting a Node.js process on the cloud, and we have here, so we have Node, right? We can do things like this. Right, so for example, if we wanted to define a function here in JavaScript, so now we can do a 5, and then we're adding numbers, right? So this is Node on the cloud. We also have PM2. We could now do stop hello, and now it stopped, so now there's nothing here. And now we could say, because that application hasn't been removed, we could now do start or restart hello, right? And now the application gets back alive. So we now have Node, we have PM2, and we have npm. And I think, yeah, we also have, so we could go here to var, and no, so maybe var is engine. I think it was here, right? Yeah, so we have engines. So we have, if we go to sites available, and this is something that we probably also won't cover in depth today, we have here the default file, which is probably going to be the file that is telling the Node.js server where things are. So let me make this bigger so you can see. Right, so these are called engines blocks. And these blocks tell the server, in this case, the IP that we have here, so at the root IP and port 80. So when you don't have a port in a URL, that means that it's port 80, the one that is working there. And you can see that here. We're actually telling that our application lives here, and we, server name is hello node, assets, and proxy pass is 3000. And you know, this is probably like routing the HTTP server from the server from the application that we're serving through Node into the Node engines block. So you can see, if I go, what is my IP? So here, if I go to that IP, so SSH root here, and we go to the application code, so which was at this hello.js file, you can see here that the port is 3000, right? And that's getting mapped to port 80 of our URL that you can access if you're seeing this live. And actually, if I were to change that file, that engines block that we saw, sites available, I can edit the default block, and maybe, just maybe, I think if this doesn't fail, we could put here port, I don't know. Well, okay. Yeah, so if we put another port, that port won't be open to the public, like it's port 80, and we won't be able to access it. But you could change it there and then open the port. So if we do UFW status, you can see that only Nginx full, blah, blah, blah. So only port 80 is going to be accessible from outside. All right. So Nginx full. Let's just try it quickly. So sites available, default, and we're going to do, where is 80? So we're going to put here 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, and we're going to do systemctl restart Nginx. All right, so now this doesn't exist anymore, but what if we go to this? Yeah, so maybe just maybe, you know, that implies a few more changes where we actually have to reroute that port. But yeah, so this was the Node.js one, so we're gonna kill that one now, and we'll go here to the Node.js one, destroy Droplet, confirm. Okay, so now the Docker one, so we're gonna go a bit more quickly here. So we're gonna create a new tab, we're gonna close the other one. Right, so SSH root at that IP, we say yes to this, and once we enter, what's really cool now is we have Docker, and Docker is all ready to go, right? It's already here. We can do as we did before, it remove Ubuntu latest. We have to put here run, so Docker run it remove Ubuntu latest. It gets to pull those images really quickly, and then we're running, and now we have a new Docker container running here that, you know, we could do the same that we did before. So we could create, so Nano might not be installed here, so we could install things, and you know that might serve to verify. So Nano is not found on this machine, but if I exit the container, you can see that Nano is indeed the Docker one, and we're gonna destroy this one as well. Okay, this one is a LEMP stack. So we're just gonna go here and see that you have, you know, you have your Droplet. If I go and log into this one, similarly as before, we can edit the HTML file corresponding to that. So I'm going to this directory and change the index.html. This is being served by Nginx, so please log in, please Nono here. Right, and now that's working here. So this is LEMP, and what this allows us to do is that now we could host a Laravel application or anything that has to do with PHP. So for example, I can remove that index.html. I can do a PHP file, and I could do here echo 3 plus 100, and that's it, and does this work? Maybe not. Let me see. So that's there, so that's like a comment. Let me just take a look. Yeah, so that's 103. So we could do for instance that, and we could also do URL encode all right, and do that. You see, so that's encoding the URL. So we're working with PHP here, so the stack works. We also have MySQL, so we can show databases, right? So we see there the basic databases are there, and easily we could install phpMyAdmin and expose them, many things. So okay, so that's for LEMP, and this is the one I use to host my my Laravel projects. So you can actually see my instructions to set up here. So you get to create a LEMP instance. So this is on here on GitHub. github.com/nonoesp/do or DigitalOcean-setup. Right, so you have here this thing here where you would create a LEMP. This takes you to that template. Right, so we get to the same template. Maybe that doesn't exist anymore and it's being updated, but yeah, you just set up your instance and run a few things to install dependencies. And I have here a crazy bunch of templates and automations. So these are commands that set up Laravel and PHP and your SSH keys and all that stuff really quickly, because there's still things that you need to do. And as you can see, this is my template for running Laravel applications with Servbot and Nginx. All right, so that's for LEMP. So we're gonna destroy this one. And we have this list here. We have WordPress, we have Laravel, we have Bcoin, we have Ghost. So let's actually just go into them. We're not gonna do much more with them. So this one gets started. Let me see. Upgrade, checkout. All right, so this is Ghost. All right, so it seems like for this one we actually need to SSH, and it will tell us a few things to configure there. I've never used this one. So, all right, so we're going to connect to this one, and then after we log in, we'll get some instructions. Configuring, one-click Ghost installation, ensuring Ghost is up to date. Once complete, you're encouraged to run your MySQL ready to your server production. Passwords have been saved to root.digitalocean password. So this is installing all the Ghost npm node models, so the dependencies of Ghost, to be able to run here. So before they really couldn't run. And while this is installing, let me go here and take a look what else we need. So please enter to finalize. You're ready to get started. As soon as you're done, make sure you configure your droplet interface add -ghost and blah blah blah. All right, so press when you're ready to go. Press enter when you're ready to get started. All right. So this is doing a lot of checks, downloading and installing Ghost. Seems like this might be updating, but on the meanwhile, we can go here, maybe. Okay, there's nothing yet at Ghost. What about here? Not yet. So yeah, this will take some time. Let's see what else we have while this is getting done. The Bcoin here. The Laravel one, what instructions do we have? Okay, so this requires us to have a domain name. So we're gonna create a new tab for Laravel here, SSH root at that. So we add the fingerprint, and we're going to, yeah, we don't have a domain name. Just wanted to verify. So we have Composer here and we have Laravel, not found. So okay, so with Composer we could install applications. So we're not going to do anything with the one of Laravel. Destroy droplet config. Okay, the WordPress one and the Bcoin one. So let's access them. Yes, so this is the WordPress one. Subdomain name, we don't have one, blah, blah, blah. And for this one, let's see what's in here. Yeah, so I guess like this is just a fresh install of WordPress. So Nono mass WordPress. All right, so this is just cool. And we have a full new WordPress site really quickly, really easy, and with no trouble. So note one thing, once we create a droplet with a template, it doesn't really mean that it's kind of constrained to using that. It just has a pre-installed set of tools, and we can install as many things as we want in that same server. So here I'm in the WordPress server, and I can do apt-get, update, and then I can install Docker, Node.js, I can install anything that I want, really. So just don't be fooled that this is like a restricted thing that you just have, and if you pick WordPress, you're not going to be able to install Laravel or Node.js or Docker. We could do the same thing that we did before, and now should do apt-get, install, whatever, and we'll get to it. All right, so that is WordPress, which we're not going to see a lot of. And let's see if Ghost finished. Still building fresh packages. So Ghost, and then what about, let's just close everything. What about this one? Get started for deploying Bitcoin. This is your, and then try running the command info. All right, so we're gonna go to the last one that we haven't tried yet. So SSH root at this, we say yes. And this is Ghost. This is not the other one. Right, so this we're gonna close because I opened the Ghost one. Blog URL, no blog URL. Right, let's see if the Ghost site works now. Add here, Ghost. So yeah, I'm not sure what's going on, but yeah, whatever. Let me see if I get out of this. Okay, whatever. I don't know what's happening there. All right, so the last one we have is Bcoin. Yeah, so I'm not sure what is going on here, but this seems like it's just a Bitcoin node, which I don't fully understand. So we're gonna delete these two resources now. And this one, Bitcoin, that's it. All right, so let's take a quick look. So we've gone through signing up and what DigitalOcean is and some of the services that it provides. We've gone through droplets and the types and the marketplace and tried many different things. We've gone through installing some of the dependencies like Docker or Anaconda or things like this. You don't really need to install Docker if that's what you want. You just can create a new Docker droplet with the Docker template, and that way you can save up on time and running commands and looking for how to install Docker. We haven't seen how to install Anaconda. That's something that we could take a look at in the next video, so we can probably cover in the next video how to install custom dependencies that we took a look at before in Docker, but to run and serve machine learning models and for machine learning model development in Python and creating Anaconda environments. I do have a video for that, for how to create Anaconda environments, so Python environments with Anaconda. Make sure to take a look at that one. And, we saw some of the apt-get commands. So in some way, we cover dependencies, like we installed Nano inside of Linux, we installed Docker from scratch. You can do that. So there are two ways, and it's installing the dependencies from scratch, or just getting an image from the marketplace that already has those pre-installed. So I'm going to record an intro for this video in case I put it separately, and we'll see. So hi everyone, it's Nono here, and this is one more video. Oh, the mouse in the middle. Hi everyone, it's Nono here, and this is one more video of the DigitalOcean series. In this video, we're going to see how to install custom dependencies on DigitalOcean Droplets. Maybe using apt-get to install them. Or using images from the marketplace that already have them pre-installed at the moment of creation of our droplet. All right. Thanks so much for watching, and I'll see you next time. All right. And then Node.js. We've seen this and that in some way, right? We've seen Node.js and the LEMP stack, but we haven't really got into depth at how to develop Laravel applications and PHP applications, or how to develop applications with Express. We've seen how to serve them with the HTML package of Node, but I wouldn't say we've covered them that much. And then SSH keys. I don't think we've covered them, so let me go back to... So we covered the basics, for sure we covered the basics. We covered the droplets and we covered the dependencies, I think. But we haven't really covered the serving ML part. And that might be a good topic to continue where we left off next Thursday. So, with this, I will say that this has been a successful live stream. I hope you enjoyed this recording, and I hope to see you next week on Thursday at the same time. I'll quickly remind you of a few things that we always see at the end. And those are that, this is not the live stream series. That I would recommend, I would invite you to like this video if you enjoyed the content, and to help us reach a wider audience so other people can find our videos, and to subscribe if you want to get notified when we go live or when we publish new videos. All right, so this was your host, Nono Martinez Alonso, and I really enjoyed this. I hope that you learned something today, as I did. And I hopefully will be publishing these videos as individual clips under a specific DigitalOcean playlist. If there's something particular that you didn't understand quite well, or you want me to cover more in depth, please leave a comment and I'll make sure to record a video about it. Once again, thanks so much for listening or for watching, and I'll see you next time. Bye. Thank you.